You already know how a compass works. It doesn't make north. It simply stops fighting the field. And every time you stop fighting your own field, your intuition, you start to face the right direction without even trying. Some people call that channeling. Some call it listening between the lines. It's the same current. Imagine your awareness as a sky. Thoughts are clouds. Emotions are winds. Intuition is the high-altitude current that never stops moving. Astral projection, that's simply learning to ride that current, instead of standing on the ground shouting at the clouds. The lesson isn't about leaving the body. It's about remembering you are never only in one place to begin with. Every skill here, breath, focus, listening, travelling, it's a doorway to the same house, connection. When you learn to quiet your noise long enough to catch the faint radio hum of the bigger self, you discover the real channel is two-way. You send, you receive, you translate, you act. The bigger picture. If more of us practiced this kind of steady inner navigation, conflict would drop the way static drops when the tuner hits the right frequency. Whole cultures would move from reaction to response. That's the micro-scale ramification of one person learning to hear their own signal clearly. Right now, you can test it. Notice one tiny signal from inside. Maybe a pulse in the finger, a tug in the gut, a micro thought, hearing this sentence right here. That's intuition. Label it. Breathe once. That's calibration. Each time you notice a name, neural pathways reinforce. Prediction circuits in the brain, they tune in sharper. That's neuroscience meeting metaphysics. Act on these teachings. It builds internal coherence. Your biology starts saving energy instead of wasting it on doubt. It expands empathy because once you sense beyond your own skin, hurting another feels like burning your own hand. It unlocks creativity. New ideas surface from the subconscious because you've stopped slamming the door. Ignore them. It leaves you stuck rerunning yesterday's programs. It makes the world feel smaller, flatter, duller. It turns potential awe into chronic restlessness. Both paths cost something, but only one path pays you back with interest. Picture yourself as a cosmic surfer. Every morning the ocean of awareness sends waves of insight. If you don't paddle, you drift. If you overthink, you wipe out. But when you learn rhythm, breath, attention, surrender, you stand, and the wave carries you farther than muscle ever could. That's the sweet spot where channeling, intuition, and astral projection become one movement. Balance in motion. While you listen, somewhere inside, a new understanding is already organizing itself. Because your mind, it knows how to learn what matters most without effort. And as you notice that, you might find yourself remembering later to breathe differently, to pause before dismissing a hunch, to test one small spiritual experiment tonight, just for curiosity's sake. That's how gentle change installs itself, through choice, not command. Expansion without grounding is chaos. Grounding without expansion is stagnation. When you balance both, you become a stable transmitter of whatever you most believe in. The universe doesn't reward belief. It amplifies coherence. So the question becomes, what signal do you want to amplify? Because consciously or not, you're already broadcasting. Imagine a version of you 6 months from now. Journals full of verifiable experiences. Decisions made from intuition that later prove right. People calmer around you because your presence radiates steadiness. That version smiles at you from the near future and says, keep tuning. It gets clearer. And maybe you nod because part of you already knows that future is under construction. The path here is like learning to play an instrument you were born holding. At first, the strings squeak. Then melodies appear. Then you realize the song was always written in your DNA. Every note you play changes the room you're in. So play, listen, write down what you hear. That's how the unseen becomes seen. How the infinite learns to speak through you. One practiced breath, one honest act, one day at a time.